Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be here with you, coming to you for my first video with a brand new desk arm that was a special gift from two of my nieces. Totally unexpected, big surprise. So hopefully this will be great for my planning videos so that you can see better what I'm doing in my planner. So welcome first of all to Living and Planning Simple Abundance. What does that mean if you've just found us? Well, we've got Sarah Ban Breathnach's book here, Simple Abundance. It's her 2019 updated version. I also always keep nearby the Daybook of Comfort and Joy published in the 90s. And so this channel's always been dedicated to living with Sarah's principles of joy, harmony, beauty, order, simplicity, and gratitude. And I have taken the principles as well as some of the teachings and advice of Louise Hay, Cheryl Richardson, Brene Brown, and such, and incorporated them into my planner. And I know if you are a planner community person, how fun it is to see what other people are doing. So I am excited to share what I have going on for February. So let's get to it. Here is my fun February spread. And of course I had fun with all the Valentine's Day hearts and things, and I don't use this spread that much except for really like a reference, so I don't put tons of notes on it, but I do use things like symbols that mean certain things to me so that I know when certain deadlines are or things that are happening. Like that's a doctor's appointment, that is a money related thing. Of course I love the day I get my cash envelopes, as you know. So this is just a place that I have fun and I can see a monthly view of what's coming up and maybe some important things. And I told you that I also always like to come up with something for this block here. And for February, what I did was I looked in the Simple Abundance book and decided to see if I could find some wording that really stood out to me. And later on, I'm going to talk about how there is a section of my life enrichment page where I have put the main feature of things that Sarah talks about in her February pages as bullet points. And so we are, of course, talking about the principles that I mentioned. And in Sarah's January pages, we were learning a bit about the principles themselves individually. And then in February, she's really talking a lot about gratitude because that is what she considers to be like the main principle that kind of is the foundation for all of the other interwoven principles that are together in this tapestry of contentment that she's put together for us. So I made my own wording based on some of the things that she started with, and this is what it is. Gentle is our path. Quiet our days. This month, we reconnect with authenticity and our grateful hearts. So yeah, there's a lot of excavating of the soul in the February pages as well, which is a lot of what Simple Abundance is about. What is Simple Abundance? Like, I have a video about it, but just in a short way of saying it, it is living in such a way that you are honoring the principles that she has, as well as just understanding that to be living in an abundantly prosperous, not just money-wise, but, you know, abundance in terms of like the simple things of realizing what you have, being grateful for things, savoring the beauty and the harmony in life, being mindful of joy and making that a part of your day. So it's like a simple way of living. And so I've taken that and put that into practice here in my pages. Of course, I always have my 2-page, one side for business and work, and the other side for home and personal. It's a lot of repetition that happens each month, but then there's always some special things like certain birthdays or something related to what I need to do with my car or something like that, you know. Same thing with work and business. There's a lot of repetition, but then there could be something special that's coming up for a client, so there's a focus on that. And I don't normally put little decorations on these pages, but I decided to this month. And you know what? I should say one thing quickly too. I will talk about the special stickers that I got from Etsy for some of my specific pages, but I wanted to give a shout out to Michaels for these $9.99 little sticker books. Like I had bought already, I've had for a while the one that has unicorns and fairies and butterflies and things, and the kitty one too that has all different kinds of cats. But then in the fall, I bought one for fall because they have ones for all different seasons. And then I just went out recently when I was, actually I think I had done it before the last video that I did, because I used some of the winter ones in the January spread. But this is the winter one. And the neat thing about these is there's little sayings, and there's also sometimes like a border that you can use in your monthly view. So I have used some of those, and then I bought a bird one recently too, because you know I love my birds, but I haven't yet really used this one. But that'll be fun. So these are only $9.99, and you get sometimes like 500, 600 stickers. Actually, this one says 824, so it's definitely a good deal. So I mentioned I was going to say like what the focuses are for Sarah's February pages, and they are, like I mentioned, gratitude, of course, love, because it is the month of love, right? And I have to tell you, actually, I didn't even plan to share this, but I had Chinese food last night, and it said, romance will come your way soon. I have that on my desk. And, you know, what she might mean by, or what my fortune might mean by that is that some of the things that I'm doing this month are definitely romance related in terms of taking Sarah's advice to do things like listening to love songs and watching romantic movies. And I think in one page she said something like, if you want to bring love into your life, you know, pretend that you're just madly in love. And, you know, so she had some examples of that. So, of course, love is a focus. Also, luxury. So she talks a lot to us in the February pages about, it's mostly like harmony and beauty, but bringing luxurious things around your experience is so nice. And we always talk about the senses and how you can really stimulate the senses. But if you can also be mindful of things like maybe it's time to change your pajamas or something and get something really silky and soft, or get new bedding, new sheets, something like that. I've been thinking about the bath collection that she also talks about later in the book in terms of really beefing up what options there are, even just like lotions around the house. And so just luxury things that, you know, they're simple abundance. They're very small. It doesn't have to be a huge amount of money, but some sort of a luxury for your senses. So she talks a lot about that. And this is our time for authentic self-discovery. She has said in the pages January and February things about us being on a safari of self and being a pioneer and really getting to like our roots and our story, and maybe I also listed on here, what were some forgotten dreams that they're buried. You know, it's like you always wanted to do something and you never did it. Maybe somebody talked you out of it, or you didn't have the money, or you just didn't have the guts to do it. But maybe there's some way that you can incorporate that experience into your life. Maybe it's not something you could physically do now, but you could still maybe take a part in it in some way, you know. And creating a sacred space, that's one of her joyful simplicities for February, because, and the other one here is spiritual awakening. This whole experience, if you really do follow the simple abundance path, there's no way that you're going to go through it and not have a spiritual awakening. Because when you really get to the root of what everything is and how you're really living from a place of authenticity and noticing the magic around you and everything, then you definitely will have an awakening. You know what I wanted to share too? I recently was shown on YouTube, you know, where it shows you things you might be interested in. There are a bunch of people now doing a simple abundance year like I did back in 2020. I don't know that anybody else had really ever done it, but now it seems to be taking off, which is awfully exciting for Sarah. So there are some people that did it last year, and then I noticed there's a few people doing it this year as well. And of course, my 300 videos or whatever from the year of 2020 are still out there in the ethers too. So it's great to know that people are finding the book and getting value out of it. Okay, so this is my own life enrichment based on Sarah's principles, but then also, like I said, a little sprinkling in of some other teachers. And at the root of things, I always want to have something to look forward to. I need to work on that one. I'm constantly working. My nephew just asked me, he asks me every so often, like, what have you been up to? Anything interesting? And I just have to laugh because every time he asks me, I just always feel like, no, I've just been working a lot, So I need to be more mindful of like carving out more time, setting it a priority that I have some fun things and things to look forward to. So the things I have on this month are, I mentioned this last month, getting ready for a visit to see my friends in Massachusetts. And then my dad said he's going to come and visit again in March. So I'm looking forward to making plans for that. And then I have a potential bullet of staying away at a place in Vermont. It's a little inn that if you've been watching my channel and you remember that I have a blog also about my postcard project, I have been neglectful of it. I don't think I did even one postcard in 2022, but it would be nice to get back on that. It's called Postcard Path. And so I have a postcard from a nearby place that I could really stay in. Of course, I think it would be nicer to go maybe in the spring rather than in the winter when I wouldn't really be able to take in all the grounds and stuff. So at least it's on my radar to even be thinking about it, because a lot of this is just like something to look forward to that I know is coming. It doesn't necessarily have to happen in February, but it's something on my mind of like, why am I working so hard? Well, it's because I want to take a vacation and go to that inn or do whatever. The next thing is donating to a cause, which I always do. And I mentioned that a lot of times it's for animals and nature and things like that. And there's been a few on my list that I've been meaning to get to. Always try to do it so that it's like something that sort of is personal in some way. And I've shared with you guys, I am recovering from an eating disorder early in my life and another relapse later in life. And so that eating disorder association, it's the National Eating Disorder Association. I could donate to the New York one, which is where I live, or to the national one. Haven't yet decided, potentially just the New York one. But February 27th starts the National Eating Disorder Awareness Week. So I figured that was well timed, and it's been on my list for a while. So that'll be my cause. Creative excursions, that is from Sarah's book. These are dates with you and you to go out and do things that bring you joy and delight and fun times for yourself. It's not with somebody else. It's actually you and you. And so I just, it's kind of boring, but I have 2 stores written down that I like to just kind of window shop and cruise around. And one of them is At Home, and the other one I mentioned already is Michael's. So it's fun to just look around and see what crafts you might be able to get things together for. Or at the At Home store, there's just fun furnishings and seasonal decorations and things. And a lot of times that here we are in the middle of winter, but sometimes you go to these stores and it's already all set up for spring with some hints of summer too. So it's kind of fun, and I like my garden so much that a lot of times I'll see little things like fairy houses and stuff, and I'll just start to brainstorm about stuff that I want to have for the gardening time. All right, so one of Sarah's principles is order. So this next block is for order and organization. And so I have a question mark there about storage. I've had in my mind to do what I did maybe a year and a half ago, which is take everything out of my storage unit and then put it back in so it's more organized, but then also at the same time just pare down a lot of stuff. I was thinking recently about our journey through Francine Jay's book. What is it called? The Joy of Less. Oh, just totally went out of my mind. But she was talking about if you put something that you're not sure about getting rid of in a box and then you don't touch it for, a year or more. I think it was even like less time in her book. It's really kind of a sign that you don't need it anymore, right? And I'm certainly not a hoarder or anything, but I'm so practical that I think I mentioned one time maybe in the Francine J video about the storage section, I mentioned that, you know, I have all these cords to things that I'm like, what if I get rid of it and then I can't find it again? So there's things like that because I'm so practical. But there's things I can do in there. Like I have a lot of VHS tapes and cassette tapes even, and things like those things could definitely be converted over to digital. Even my photo albums, I have so many photo albums in storage, and I know there's ways that you can get those made into books and things like that that would definitely take up much less space than they're taking now. So I have a question mark because I've been so busy, and I really need to be more mindful about doing fun things and non-structured time, non-working time. So if I have the option to, you know, say veg out or be out in nature or something like that, I really should do that for myself versus going and cleaning out my storage unit, as nice as it would be to, you know, do that. But I can also have the storage unit stay the way it is, and it doesn't necessarily affect my day-to-day life. So it would be better for my enrichment to focus on doing some fun things, right? Not that organizing isn't fun. Some of you like it, like I do. But anyway, there's a big question mark by that. So it's on there, but it might not happen. I've also had this coat closet on my list for a while too. I have an entryway closet when you first come in my place, and it's quite deep, so I have the coats are in the front, but then in the back there's stuff that I don't access that much. It's not anything I would need to purge, but it could be organized, and not really purging, but I do have some excess food in there, like storage food, non-perishables and stuff, and I should really be on a schedule of rotating those things out at least every 6 months to a year, and it's certainly been longer than that. When we went through Simple Abundance in 2020, the new version, the one that I had originally in the screen here from 2019, that one has a monthly caution closet activity. And so Sarah's like helping us become preppers, I guess, if you want to call it that. And so that was the year that I was like, all right, I'm going to get some extra food together, you know, just in case we lost power or something drastic happened. So yeah, I got to go through some of that stuff, and so it would be good to pull everything out of that. That would only be like an afternoon project. It wouldn't be anything huge. And then I have on here clean kitchen. And the reason that I put that is because I've been trying to be more mindful, and I did pretty well near the end of January, to be better about having a clean kitchen. So the thing I'm the worst about, and I've probably said this before in the video, I hate the dishes. And I have a dishwasher. It's so ridiculous that I really hate them as much as I do, considering that. But what I've been trying to do is to do the dishes while I'm standing there. If I'm making dinner or having breakfast or something like that, well, not having breakfast, but making breakfast, then why shouldn't I just do the dishes? Excuse me. I have a dry throat here. So that's been on my list, to have a clean kitchen. For seasonal joys, these are like Sarah's joyful simplicities that she calls them. And a lot of the ones that she has for February have to do, like I said, with romance. And one of the things actually, I did say sacred space, because we are getting into the Simple Abundance principles. If you started at the beginning of the year, she does encourage you to have like a special area of your place that is dedicated to sacred time, quiet time. You may be sitting with the principles, sitting with your journal, doing some kind of activity that is going to help you live more along the path. Maybe putting together lists like this, but just like a sacred space that is dedicated to that. Even if it's like she said, like a bureau top, or like a part of a table, a corner, a little desk or something like that. But, you know, honoring it, honoring your sacredness, and coming up with a sacred space. For me, I have for the winter to have winter coziness because winter is the time that I like to be cozy. And in the spring and summer, I love to be outside and have the windows open and everything. But in the winter, it just feels really good to just snuggle up under the covers and do quiet things and maybe watch extra shows and things. So I'm giving myself that winter coziness on there. I am taking along in stride what Sarah said, watching romantic movies. I have one on in the background actually here. Listening to love songs and stories, choosing the audiobook that I put on my Kindle to be something romantic. And also February 9th is officially Pizza Day, according to the fun holidays that happen in February. So I could make heart-shaped pizzas. There's a lot of videos about doing things like that. Sarah also always encourages us to have bulbs and other things like hints of spring around all year round, even if it's winter. So I have on the list maybe to get some primroses. She's always talked about that, and I've mentioned that before in other videos. And then also, we've already passed it. It's February 2nd is Candlemas, which is also, if it's in the pagan tradition, it's Imbolc. So that's a night where you're lighting all the candles in your house. And I just have candle night because I don't really, traditionally celebrate either of those, days. But I think it is still nice in the middle of winter to just sort of like shut off all the lights and have a still quiet night with the candles. And I have so many fake candles, so it doesn't have to be like a fire hazard or anything. I have candle night also under the silence, peace, and stillness block as well. And let's see, music, song, and dance, that is an homage to Brené's Guideposts for Wholehearted Living. I have my regular chorus rehearsal weekly, which I really find a lot of joy in. It's funny, and I don't know if it's because of COVID, but I just find myself so in the present moment during those rehearsals, whereas I remember in earlier years, and I wasn't any less busy than I am now or vice versa, I would find my mind wandering and just looking at the clock and how much longer and stuff. But I'm loving every moment of singing and just feeling like it's nice to be back with the group. And I hadn't sung with them for about 6 years up until this past fall. So it was nice to be back in the group. And so that is definitely something that helps to enrich my life. And then also, I mentioned last time that you can get on YouTube and you can totally watch full productions of musicals and also full concerts a lot of times. You might have to endure a few, breaks for ads here and there. But I saw a Celine Dion concert recently advertised, and so I made a screenshot of it so that I could go back and watch that. And that would certainly be like a one that would have love songs in it, I'm sure. All right, for laughter, play, and projects, I'm always like bursting at the seams with that one, but I don't have a ton this month. But I have the laughter. There's a comedian who I saw on a podcast recently, a YouTube podcast. I know that sounds weird to say I saw it on a podcast, but a YouTube broadcast of a podcast. And he has a new comedy special coming out on the 14th. I haven't yet researched how I can watch it. It might be on HBO, so I might have to wait, but I just slated that because he is really funny whenever they have him on as a guest. So I figured it would be good. And then I like to play cards with my friends. I have that listed there. And if you're watching, by the way, hint, hint, we need to schedule that. And I forgot to mention that one of the things on my January list was that I updated my winter wreath that I have on my front door to kind of have some little love February Valentine-ish sort of accessories. And that was fun. I only really went out and bought like 2 little things and then some ribbon that ended up being like 80% off because it was technically like considered Christmas, even though it was like black and white gingham. So I updated that. So it's still wintry looking, but it has some February love sort of accessories. So I was thinking I'd like to continue that because I have a spring, a summer, a Christmas, and a fall wreath, and then I made this winter wreath last year, but it's like between January and the spring wreath, it's like I like to maybe have a little more variety, and I didn't do that last year, so I want to get some little wreath, extra things, maybe put, I'm thinking of St. Patrick's Day is coming up, like some shamrocks or something for Easter, things like that. So those are just on my project list. And let's see, growth, healing, and resilience. One thing you'll see when we get to my goal sheet is I'm really working on my posture right now. It's not something I've ever given much thought to aside from being annoyed that I don't have great posture. But I got this new traction apparatus that I'm doing like 10 minutes on a day. And already in like 2 weeks I've been doing it, I really notice a difference. So I put down traction time. That's what that is. And then in therapy, I'm working on some part of my healing is my reactivity skills. So we're going over various emotions and ways to not be so reactive, because I am reactive a lot of times, like reacting in anger or spite. So I really am working on that. For rest, recover, and honor, also one of the things in Sarah's book is every year she encourages us to write a Valentine's Day letter to ourselves, or maybe get a beautiful card and just write wonderful things to yourself. This is not unlike the letter that you might write to yourself in a time capsule if you do that like I do every year. But this is more from a self-love, like really like pepping yourself up, telling yourself how much you love yourself. And that's hard for a lot of us. And I have been doing this every year. And you know what? I don't usually open it up. You're supposed to mail it to yourself. And there have been years that I have mailed it. I think I'll mail it this year. Maybe I'll use some Valentine's Day stickers on it. But she says in the book to save it for a day when you might need it. But I usually just date it, and then I've just sort of put them away. It might be interesting to go back and read them all together. I guess I need to be mindful of the fact that like it would be something good to grab if you're ever having a tough time. They could go in your comfort drawer, if you remember us talking about one of Sarah's tools, which is having a little stash of things that do bring you comfort for those hard days. I want to continue having my Sunday Sabbath every week, which is something that means a lot to me, and like health-wise, I need to keep doing that too. And then I always let myself sleep in one day of the week too, and I don't even really end up sleeping in that much, but it's just a nice feeling to sort of treat yourself to going to bed and going like, I don't have to get up tomorrow, and just not setting the alarm. And even if you get up at almost the same exact time, it's just such a nice feeling to just know that you can lounge a little bit in bed. So I definitely give myself that once a week. It's usually on Sunday mornings. So for wonder, exploration, and adventure, I shared last time that I like to watch documentaries, and I'm not one to jump on a plane and see new places. So I can be totally fine by just watching a show about a place. So I did watch a show or a documentary about one new place. And then also tonight, because it's January, it's February 5th today. So tonight is the full moon. So go out and see the snow moon. Oh, I'm glad I said that, because I guess I was thinking it was tomorrow, but that is today. So tonight is the snow moon. I wonder if we'll be able to see it. It has been pretty cloudy. For beauty and harmony, Sarah always recommends that we get roses or a single rose for ourselves. And of course, that's like a symbol of Valentine's Day too. I usually get myself roses for Valentine's Day. It's such a luxury. It's not like a flower that you might get all the time, because they don't last as long as other ones. So it doesn't have to be roses if you want to get something more economical that is not so expensive and then also lasts longer. But I hope that you'll do something for yourself. One year, if you look back at my videos, one year I put like a giant rose outside my door, like one of those fake flowers that's enormous. And so I was like, yep, I got myself a rose. So you can have some fun with it too. All right, so we talked a little bit about Sarah saying that we should focus on luxury, right? So I added that in here. Doing kind of like a tub redo, an upgrade, going through the things that are on your rack in the shower, like stuff that's like you really need to just get rid of that empty bottle that you never got out of there, or maybe beefing up some new ones and just really nice scents in there. So I want to do that. And then also I just want to be mindful of the luxurious experiences, and she calls them beauty rituals. So having lotion around, like I said, or having some bath bombs that you can just throw a nice smelling one into the hot water of the tub and things like that. And also, one of the entries in February, I was looking back and it reminded me that she asks us what do you love? And that might not be something that you're really thinking about very often. And it might be something as small as like, I love like a certain drink, or I love sitting in the quiet of my bedroom or something like that. Who knows? But so I'm planning to make my list of what do I love. So that's what that is. For nature and animals, it's sort of like what I do every month. Put the bird feeder stuff out on Mondays. I usually do. I wish I could do it every day, but with my budget, I'm just trying to cut back where I can. And I almost find that if I had food out all the time, I feel like I wouldn't, it would be such a common thing. You know, the birds still come around anyway, but I like the fact that it goes out and then it usually lasts until Wednesday. So those are the times that I'm really paying attention to the birds. And I will say also that on Sundays, like today, I have a smaller window where I have just a hook where I will put out some food only on Sundays so that I can see it from my chair in my living room versus being at my desk where I can normally see the other ones. And then also, just like with the documentary and learning about a new place, I put learn about one new animal. So that could be like reading about it. It could be watching a show. I'm sure I could go on the internet and watch a YouTube video about it. So I might even keep that on the list for every month to just learn about a new animal because I just love watching animals. For silence, peace, and stillness, I mentioned the candle night is on there. The other thing I have is just to work on some breathing and breath work. One of the resilience reactive skills that I'm working on is trying to like not say what I'm thinking and just breathe before I do anything. So yeah, that's on my list. For gratitude, oh, I forgot to show you guys. I have this grateful sign that I'm going to put up on a door. I mentioned last month that I just needed to make the gratitude thing really easy. And so that's what I decided. I can just put that decal on the door that I see in the morning and the evening. And hopefully it won't become so commonplace that I will notice it and that I will be able to say, even in my mind or maybe out loud, at least 3 things and some things that I'm grateful for. So that gratitude is at top of mind. I have Shayna Knoll. If you haven't heard of her music's beautiful. She's more of a spiritual singer. But I listen to her music and others like her because there are some beautiful things out there that even if you just look for gratitude songs or something, you can get a playlist on YouTube. And then Abraham, I like my Abraham Hicks videos and recordings, and she has a lot of rampages, which rampage sounds like a negative word, but it's, she has rampages of appreciation. So big, long, things of like, I love my life and I love this and I love that. And so I'll try to find things like that are for gratitude and love. Unforgettable moments, we know I can't predict those ahead of time, so that's open for now. So that's my life enrichment. For my goals, I'm still working on the YouTube, or not even working on it. I'm just basically keeping track of it. I did actually have 190 as my goal for January, and then I hit it on the very last day of the month, so I was excited. So I'm trying to get up to 197 for February. Of course, the goal is to get over 1,000 so that I can finally be monetized. I've been over 4,000 in the watch hours, which is the other requirement for monetization, but somehow, I guess it's like an average for the entire year, so somehow when I looked at it at the end of January, I had gone down a little bit, so I want to make sure that I'm just consistently staying over 4,000. I'm working on my stretching, and I also have stretching and posture on here now, and I should have kind of put them together, but I've been so good about my stretching. I have to tell you guys, I'm enjoying stretching a little bit again because I'm feeling like I can see the difference. I have not obviously gotten to the point where I can put my hands completely flat on the floor if I'm bending over, but I've been working on my back, I've been working on my upper body. Of course, the posture stuff is helping too. So I'm consistently doing stretching almost as long as I'm on the treadmill on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So it's become a big part of my workout. I've also been doing some sauna sessions, and so that's a really nice time to be able to stretch because your body is so warmed up and your muscles are looser. And meal planning, I want to continue with that. I feel like this page is going to be kind of boring throughout the year because I don't change my, I hate to even say goals, because they're more like practices or rituals, or, you know, just having something that I'm striving for, but it's not necessarily like a goal that has an end to it. But my goal is always to, I mean, aside from the YouTube one, but my goal is always to just feel better in body and mind. So of course I would feel better actually if I got the YouTube 1,000 subscribers, and it would be great to get the monetary kickback on that too. So I'm going to continue with my meal planning to just write it out each week. That's working well. I've found that making my lunches in batches is also working. And I'm really trying to make sure that I add more fruits and vegetables into my routine too. So that's on there. And the posture is kind of redundant, but I just want to make sure that I'm mindful. I realize too, when I sleep, I'm even sort of like slouching in my sleep, because I'm kind of like, if I sleep on my side, I notice that my shoulders are like so far forward. So I don't think my sleeping posture is really helping with my posture work. So I might end up doing some research and seeing if there's like pillows that you can put so that you don't do that bad posture in your sleep. This is my fun little February page. You know, I made those recently. And I also, for my tabs for this month, I went back. These are actually ones that I used for February, or for December, I should say. But this just got messed up. But they are fine for now too. They have little fairies and gnomes and stuff. And I thought that they matched well with the color of the February thing. So, you know, this is the week that we're in right now. You know, I have my errands, groceries, and to get. This is like some pending things that have been on my mind, but that are not super important. This was my weekly task list, still going for this week, because my weeks go Monday to Sunday in the daily things. I had a lot of fun this month because I got new fun stickers from Etsy. And like I said, I will try to put the various shops that I bought them from. But I mentioned I wanted to do this, that I have meetings every week with certain clients. So like here's that one. So I did the names of some of them on these. And then, you know, I'm doing my stretching. So I did stretching. I've got the sauna. I'm also doing some red light therapy. I got these money ones. I also got, and you saw these probably on the monthly spread, I got some ones that have like little abbreviations of things. These are just some neat Reiki ones. And I got for my telehealth appointments, that one. There's other ones too. Like I got a birthday one. I got a one that says watch, like what to watch. Sometimes they send fun little extras too, which are fun. I have a deadline one. So a lot of these I was able to say like what I wanted it to say. Oh, and look at this. This is Bachelor Monday. Can you believe it? And this person has not made Bachelorette Monday, so I don't know what I'm going to do when they switch over to Bachelorette Monday, but I've been having fun with those. I need to get more of them. Also, chorus rehearsal, that's right here too. So those are fun. That was one that was made already, but you got to choose what color you wanted it to be in. I ACH bill my clients every month, so these are just little fun ACH things that I can put on the corners. And then these I didn't even have to customize. These were already made too. It's a walk one with a little sneaker, so I like that. So I think that's all of them. But I've also started, like I said, using more symbols and things. You know, like these are things that come in the Happy Planner pages. And I never end up using them, so I thought, well, why don't I just use the symbols? And so I kind of chose different colors for different clients and then made certain symbols mean certain things. So I kind of have like a guide, like I know what they all mean. So those are my new stickers. I'm happy with all of those. and I will put the various shops down below, like I said. So yeah, I had a lot of fun, you know, with the stretching, the walking, the chorus rehearsal, Bachelor Monday. I always enjoy having little accessories on the top of the pages. It's funny, this whole week I was like, do a video, do a video, do a video. And I'm finally getting to it again on my Sunday Sabbath. Video, video, finally today. So yeah, I have so much fun with my stickers though. Then I have to do my weekly musings today as well. That's like a roundup of the week. These are so fun with the little fairies. So a lot of times on Sunday I'll be moving anything that I didn't move, anything that doesn't have a check mark, or if it's like got a dot because it's in process, that will get moved over to tomorrow. Starts the new week. It'll get moved over to that. Isn't it funny? I don't do any designs on these pages. That might be what I'll do next month. And I started putting in some blocks so that it wasn't looking so empty on the pages where I didn't need the blocks. For the ones that I was always doing are the days that I go into a part-time job. So I was like, well, I'm going to put those in anyway, because if I don't have meetings, then it makes it more interesting. And again, it doesn't look like I have much to do, but it sure gets filled up by the end of the week. There's next week's weekly musings. So basically a lot of the same. Oh, and this is Valentine's Day, so I did some fun things. I put that there to remind myself to do the letter to myself. I really need to do that ahead of time. I probably should work on it now and get it in the mail so that it comes on time. I don't mind that it's not spring yet. I still use flowers. That was a new sticker that came too in one of the sheets for the extra stuff. The next weekly musings. I put a little kitty there. I used a birthday sticker here. Oh, I forgot I already had her birthday up there, but I wrote it again. See, I needed to use those new stickers. Hey, I did use some of the birds. Forgot about that. And I think we're coming to the end. I forgot to say that I've been trying to do my TGIF activity, the trusting, grateful, inspired by or to, and the fun. I've just been writing it on pieces of paper because you might remember when I went through my planner initially that I had the TGIF on the weekly view, which now I don't even use anymore. So I just do try to write it on each Friday to remind myself to do it. And then like I said, I just write it somewhere else. So I hope you enjoyed that walk through February. I hope you had a great January, and I hope that you are getting something out of the book if you're reading it. I'm not, reading it every day of the week like I used to when I was trying to get through the entire book in a year. But it was fun to today, before I got on video, I really wanted to make sure I looked back at a lot of the February entries, and so it was fun to kind of revisit some of the things that she starts the book off with. And so I definitely recommend it. And if you can't get through the book yourself, at least you could maybe watch, my playlist from 2020 or some of the other people. They might be doing a video every single day. I did not do that. I did it during the month of August that year, but I did not do every single day. But maybe some of them are, and they could help you get through the book. I mean, it sounds like it's like help you get through the book. It's just a daunting thing to have, to read something every day. We're just not in the habit of having that kind of life, but there's no way you can make it through it without having an amazing experience and a spiritual awakening, like I said. So wishing you all the best for a wonderful, heartfelt, loving, grateful February. I will be back with you again, at least for the next one, to bring March in. If not before then, if I come up with anything. Oh, shoot. One other thing I was going to show you, but I didn't grab it, was I said last month I was going to redo my treasure map that's on my fridge, and I did, and it was so much fun. And I just, I don't go through magazines for it. I actually find pictures online that inspire me and symbolize the things that I want to have. And so maybe in my thumbnail picture I will try to show that in the background so you can at least see that I did do that and it's on my fridge. And some of the pictures are similar to the one that I did a few years ago, but other ones are different, and my picture in the middle is different because Sarah always recommends you have yourself in the middle of your treasure map because you're the one on the journey. So I think I've rambled on as much as I can and wish I could have shown you that, but in the meantime, if I come to you again between now and the beginning of March, then I will be sharing something like that, or a tool, or some other discussion related to simple abundance. I hope that you are having a simply abundant day and week and month, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.